Right, here we are in the goat shed. Excuse me, I've just had to jump off the roof basically to start this video, as I do. I thought I'd try and explain the common numbering system for chisels which different manufacturers have adopted. So whether you're buying a chisel from like a German company, there's got a few of those, and I think some French ones I've not seen before, but I know there's French and Swiss chisels, and there's several English makes still about. They all use a common numbering system, which is handy, but I don't suppose many people really understand what it is, so try and clear it up a bit for you if you're thinking of doing some of this carving malarkey. You've always got a number one like this is a common garden straight chisel, really, one bevel on it, and it's much the same as a woodworking chisel, really. So that's what a number one is. So as I say, they're all commonly known as ones. Everyone calls a number two. This thing is like a skew, it's called. So one is straights, twos are always skews, and then from that you start your shallowest sweeps of gouge. So like your first dished out proper wood carving gouge, your first proper wood carving tool really is a number three. For reenactment purposes, I grind out the number three off the blade to make them look a bit more, 10th century, and put a number three so I can still know what I'm talking about on my in the wood there, which so it's just a small point, but I say, as we're talking about reenactment, wood carving as much as anything else. So ones, your twos, the first gouge would be a three, it's the shallowest one you can get, so the dish is a three. For the purpose of this, if I show you, jump up a few sizes to a six, you might actually start to see the difference what I'm talking about now. This is more curved than a number three, so three is flat virtually. So your 4, 5, 6 are getting more and more dished, more curved. They go commonly up to like, I don't know, like a 10 or something like that. Getting more and more curved, but as they get more curved, they get less useful, if you're with me. There are certain jobs that you need a number 8 for, but they'll be few and far between. So if I'd advise anyone on a budget just starting, like people might want to do, then the higher sweeps are not as so useful as your shallower ones, and I'll try to explain why. There's other ways around to save some money as well, like I did. Is you don't really need to actually have a proper posh wood carving number one, because all they are in essence is your granddad's bog standard fat boiler. You can get, this is a Marples, it's a good make, it's all been abused and it's rusty. This one, it's from a car boot sale, I expect, and you can pay like 50p, for a pound. They're often just discarded virtually through places like that. If this is sharpened properly, it'll make equally good as tall as what your wood carving one would do. So so when you're starting, I won't worry about a number one. If you haven't got much money, we don't want to spend much money, get yourself, just go and pinch your granddad's tools like when he ain't looking, or go to a car boot sale. So you could take that off the table then, because you don't really need to buy that to start with at all. A number two, I can't see the use for. I've been doing this a few years now and I've never really used a skew. I can't see what they're for. I'm sure someone could pipe up and tell me what they're for, and they could be someone's best tool, but for what I do, this relief carving it's called, I've got no use for them, so I wouldn't spend 20-25 quid on one of these either. So your starting point could be £1. You get a couple of these, you know, like £1.50 might buy you 2 or 3 of these if you haven't already got any. And as long as they're sharp and not any chunks cut out of them, they make a good starting point for doing, you know, your straight bits. There's a few flats on here, but mainly it's just like the edge of this. So yeah, you could start with, you know, next to nothing, and then if you're that tight, you can't afford this sort of stuff really, much as I can't, although I've ended up getting these. But the most useful one you want to get yourself, in my opinion, which might differ to everybody else, but these have all got sweeps. So what they do, they follow, if you use them vertically, you use them for going around your different curves. Like, so this 3 fits the outside of your radius there, and the 4 will be the inside, and then the 6 and 7, 8 gets tighter and tighter curves. So with 2 gouges you could do a hell of a lot of work here. It's all of that that way, and most of this curving on these smaller bits are all 3 and 4. And then, so with your 50p card boot job and 2 of these, you could do a real lot of work basically. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So you don't have to go and spend a couple of £100 on 12 really nice Swiss made professional wood carving tools and not really you won't even know what a lot of them are for really, because I don't know what you was using for. So 2 really good ones would get you, 2 good quality gouges would take you a long way really. So this number 3, this is the shallower sweep, as I just said to you. That's their starting point, and this is the most you'll use this one like all day long really, because not only does it do this sweep, as I just said, this radius, they all do their different radiuses, different curves, but on top of that, this is the best one for doing all your grounding work. And your grounding work on the work I do, this type of relief carving, 90% of your time on the carving will be doing all this smoothing business. So what you do is you chomp out all your big sections, and it'll be left like a bear's behind. You know, it'll be like rough as you like when you first chop it all out, and then all the work then and the time goes in just getting it smooth, because unless it's smooth you can't really see your pattern, your eye just can't focus on it, and it's no good. It's all, to me, it's all about getting how smooth you can get things. So your shallowest sweep, a number 3, would always outperform a 4, 5 and a 6, because they're getting more and more curved, and so that when you're trying to do the same smoothing action on 90% of your work overall, they're a tighter sweep or curve, so they're making smaller, more tight corrugations in it. When you're trying to smooth it, they're the opposite to what you want. The tighter they go, it's never going to flatten it properly, because they're not flat themselves. So your most useful one out of all of them is, in my opinion, is the shallowest sweep is a 3, and you'll do all your work with that. 3s and 4s, you can, there's not a lot of difference in them. They're going up in stages, but a 3 is the best one to have. And then, as I say, you can do a lot of work with that. And yeah, it's just something I found out by doing it for a few years really. Is like, you know, you want to put all your emphasis really on a good quality number 3 gouge. If you can't afford much, is to buy, you'll be better off getting 2 or 3 number 3s in different widths, and keeping them really sharp and using them as your basic tool for nearly everything basically. That's what I'm trying to say to you. And they do say, you know, buy a good tool once rather than buy 2 or 3 cheap ones. Now I've been told that, you read it, you hear about it, people tell you, don't listen. I don't listen to what I'm told. I'm too tight. You ignore the advice. But when you're buying these wood carving gouges, you've got to buy one that's like is a proper job really, because the steel is always going to be better in the expensive ones. So it's harder steel, and they're like, the angles it's all been ground to is just like finer. They're more shallower this way on the bevel basically. Your crude Chinese ones you can get for a fifth of the price are so crude. I'll try and show you one here, look. Like all the angles are so blunt, like they're never going to really be very sharp. You know, they're just not a lot of good to you really. So yeah, so that's my advice is you can get round things, and yeah, my favourites are number 3 in different widths for doing nearly everything with, and I say that take you a long way on this this kind of wood carving. So yeah, I hope that helps, and yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, perhaps that might inspire you, this carving in front of you perhaps, or me telling you about the tools might inspire you to have a go, and please do. It's quite a rewarding hobby which you can integrate into your reenactment, and yes, I enjoy it anyway, and yeah, thanks for watching, thanks very much, yeah, bye bye.